My girlfriend has an issue with the fact that I walk to work. I feel like I'm going crazy, so I just wanted to check whether I'd somehow completely misjudged this. Literally, the only thing to explain here. I've been seeing my girlfriend for 3 months, exclusively for 2. I don't drive as I graduated university and moved to London, where a car isn't needed, and I've only just moved back to my more rural hometown. I'm currently working in an office, which is slightly awkwardly located. If I get the bus, it's 2 separate buses, so the journey takes a total of about 55 minutes. If I walk, it's 1 hour and 10 minutes. I enjoy walking a lot when it isn't raining, and I take quite a scenic route, so I enjoy getting my headphones in with Spotify and just enjoying the stroll in the mornings and evenings. I enjoy it more than a cramped bus and find it to be relaxing and a fresh start to the day. I mentioned in passing that I walk to work to my girlfriend, and she just keeps bringing it up, saying that if I don't drive, I should stop being weird and get public transport like everyone else. She thinks that it's too long to just walk each day, and she just finds it weird. She said she would be too embarrassed to tell her friends that I walk to work. That's all I can explain. There's no real other reason, but she genuinely seems to have an issue with it. Am I missing something here? Has she just got a weird problem with the concept of walking? In the comments, Lady Borg says, "What is weird is her having an issue with something completely healthy." Not to mention that public transport isn't exactly reliable in all corners of the world. I've heard stories about British public transport from Brits and my parents, who were there as tourists, so no important stuff like, showing up to work on time. Plus, walking is free. Over the course of a year, that's a decent amount of money saved. This might be a one-off weird opinion of her, or she might have larger issues. Ask her exactly what her problem is with you walking to work. Tell her the reasons that you made that decision and that you'd rather not hear any criticism on it from now on. That being said, you could cut that 1 hour 10 to about 15 to 20 minutes with a bicycle. Not relevant to the issue, I know, but as an engineer, I worship efficiency. While I disagree with the way the girlfriend is approaching the issue with OP, I can't believe that the walk itself is the problem. Maybe she wants him to get a car now that he lives rurally. OP, does your girlfriend always have to come pick you up to spend time together? That can be draining. Or maybe she feels that by not biking or driving, you're significantly cutting into your time together. You are 100% in the right to walk to work and enjoy it. I just think that finding the real problem would be better for your relationship than the righteous indignation approach that most commenters are taking. Maybe a bike is a potential compromise. I guarantee she wants you to pass your driving test/get a car. But rather than discuss it with you, she hopes that by shaming you, you'll run off and organize it yourself. If you're happy to walk, then walk. I'm going to need some clarification in the comments because I was doing a bit of reading about neurodivergent people and their struggles with neurotypical people. And a big sore point that was mentioned was dry begging, and how those that recognize people are dry begging now will just ignore it, just straight up ignore it, and not give them what they want, because it is a form of emotional manipulation. Maybe it's not exactly dry begging, but this situation with the girlfriend kind of feels like it. Maybe it's dry shaming. If she tiptoes around what she wants enough, she can indirectly get you to ask her about it or spring into action yourself. And that, to me, that's not a healthy relationship dynamic. That's just very weird. Maybe a hot take, but shaming the walking in this situation, to me, is like all those people that go, "I just can't stand drinking water. I don't know how you people do it. I hate water. I hate the taste of it." Call me an asshole all you want for that, but to me it's the same. This is really weird. Walking and water are very normal things. It is weird to have a problem with them. And now, onto the update. So I didn't expect quite the amount of attention that post got a week or so ago. Anyway, just to update you guys on what happened, 3 nights ago we were hanging out at her house and decided to go for dinner at a pub, which is a 5-minute walk from her house. Nowhere fancy. I said to her, "Shall we head off?" To which she replied, "Well, have you called a taxi?" No! I pointed out that it's literally 5 minutes away, and it's quicker to walk there, and that it was a nice evening. She told me that walking to places is undignified, and that I can embarrass myself with that kind of thing if I want to, but she won't. Then, after some thinking about her immaturity and the fact that I find her a bit boring, I told her that I don't think we're going to work out, and she has some growing up to do. Then I walked the 5 kilometers home because fuck you, Annie. Walking is nice. In the comments, her online dating profile will read, "I like long, dignified taxi rides by the beach." And short rides to the pub. I'd be so embarrassed to tell the taxi driver that I was going that short of a distance. I used to drive Uber, and I used to get requests all the time for like half-mile rides, in the busiest part of town at the busiest hour. 1, there's a base pay, so a half a mile costs the same as 1 mile, and 2, I guarantee you will get there faster walking than in a car navigating rush hour on one-way streets. Anti-walking maniac is concerned that people will think she's poor if she walks places. Worrying what others think to this degree is a curse upon one's life. I kinda wanna know Annie's opinion on treadmills. Will she see red because all that walking and no destination? I bet she'd be all for it. Nothing spells classism like refusing to be seen walking outside while buying an expensive machine in order to walk indoors. I think the world would benefit from more people hearing about something radically different from their own experience and saying, huh, okay, and then moving on with their fucking lives. Oh, come on, man, that would just be too simple. We can't have people keeping quiet about their feelings on other people walking and being perceived. Do you know how much of a sin it is to be perceived in this day and age? Absolutely not. I will not be perceived. I will stay indoors in my prison booth. Connor is not holding a gun to my head, and I will not be perceived by the rest of the world. And if my partner has a problem with that, I am going to shame them. I'm going to shame them into taking a taxi 500 meters down the road. Oh, to live the joyous existence in the land of delusion that she lives in. What a joyous occasion that must be. I'm glad that OP got his ass out of there and walked 5 kilometers home. I hope he finds someone that has a normal brain. Let's be honest, it's a very abnormal thing. I said it at the start, I'm saying it again. She's a weirdo. Thank you for the story. Thank you for the update, OP. Our next post is by user DuckBlobArtist, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole here for not wanting my brother-in-law to bring his kids to my house the weekends that he has custody?" This is kind of a long story, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. 1. My brother-in-law. He is bipolar, divorced, and the father of 2 kids. 2 male and 3 male. When we first met, and for the first several years I knew him, things seemed to be okay. He was dating and then engaged to his high school sweetheart, and we would mostly see them at typical family gatherings. Holidays, birthdays, etc. The first sign of serious trouble began 1 year at Christmas when I made fun of him for believing that crystals were great for curing all of life's issues. Keep in mind, he has a degree in microbiology. At this point, he just stopped talking to anybody in the family for a literal year. Like 18 months later, he and his wife separated because he claimed she was enabling him to not have a job, and he wanted to get a job, and so, surprise! My wife told me the day that he moved in that he was moving in. He hadn't had a job in the 5 years after he left college. I wasn't thrilled about this, but as my wife says, family helps family. If you haven't watched Weapons yet, I don't care. Spoiler alert. And the brother-in-law's name was Aunt Gladys. That's all I'm gonna say. About 5 months later, he gets a job and moves back in with his wife. Not 2 months after he moves out, they announce that they are pregnant. When their youngest is 1 year old, something happened, and he probably became manic. Yeah, big emphasis on probably there, huh? He had been self-medicating with crystals and weed for years, and he quit his job randomly that was paying him about $80K per year. Almost immediately after this, they announced that they are pregnant with their second child. Man, I think he probably had a manic episode, but I can't be sure, guys. Because it was during the pandemic, he struggled to find a job, but finally found something running Ethernet cables at a factory. 2 months after his second child is born, he freaks out again, leaving his wife and kids, and claiming that his second child isn't his kid. He continues to work for 2 more months, and then suddenly ups and drives from Texas to Northern California, where he lives in the mountains, and barters with old burnt-out hippies. After 3 months of this, he moves back to Texas and in with his parents. He finally gets on bipolar meds 3 months after he gets back, and for some reason his wife, they weren't divorced yet, lets him move back in, and then he sells a car, a '96 4Runner. I lost patience for both of these people about 5 years ago now. Fast forward 12 months, he is still unemployed, now divorced, and living with his parents. He's basically a stay-at-home dad. His ex-wife is a school teacher, and the only way for her to make ends meet is to be on food stamps. They are now just trying to get into an official custody thing where he takes care of them every other weekend. He doesn't want to take them to my in-laws' house where he lives because my mother-in-law is addicted to pills. The situation is really bad. She basically doctor hops to get more pain meds. She weighs at least 400 pounds and is now so desperate for pain pills that she has broken 2 toes in the past month. Oh my god. Oh my god, what is going on? The issue is, he now wants to conduct his custody weekends at my house. 2. That was just point 1, by the way. 2. My wife, I love her to death, will drop anything to help anybody, especially family. She's basically the only reason my nephews have clothes. She, of course, is like, I am here to help, whatever you need. I, on the other hand, am happy to help, but certainly not every other weekend, and not when that means that I have 3 more mouths to feed. It is me, my wife, and 2 daughters, 11 and 13. While my wife and I do have a large enough house, we are struggling financially ourselves. We are behind on bills and live paycheck to paycheck. This has never stopped my wife from spoiling our nephews. 3. The issues. A. I do not like taking care of little kids. I had a hard time when my girls were their age, and I really had to grit my teeth and buckle down to get through those years. I love my kids, and I would do anything for them, but I got a vasectomy because I was never gonna do babies again. B. I am also ADHD, autistic/ADHD, and having the nephews over is an absolute chore to me. They are loud, they run all throughout the house, throwing and dropping toys everywhere, and I literally count the minutes until they leave. We have them overnight about once a month, and while I try to have a good attitude, I just do not like it. And maybe I just don't like them because I certainly don't mind my daughters having their friends sleep over, but I also don't worry about them electrocuting themselves or ripping a bookshelf off a wall. C. This is probably my biggest issue. My brother-in-law is unemployed and has no assets to his name, not even a bicycle. While it's great that he takes care of kids all day, what is stopping him from working at least 20 hours a week? Certainly, he could find a part-time job working 4 to 6 hours a day. My father-in-law would be thrilled to drive him to and from work. I'm also worried about the precedent that this puts on my wife and I moving forward. Certainly, my mother-in-law, 66, will not be alive much longer, and my father-in-law, 67, has Alzheimer's. It's still early and he still functions well, but who knows when they will get worse and we have to put him in assisted living. What are my brother-in-law's plans once his parents can no longer provide a place to live? I am certainly not letting an unemployed 37-year-old man with a college degree move in. I don't need more children. I understand that he is mentally ill, but I feel like my entire outlook on this situation would be different if he was contributing financially to his family and kids. My wife thinks that I'm an absolute asshole for my hesitancy and not wanting to help. This situation makes me so angry, I'm even considering going to therapy to try and work through it. So am I just a complete dick? In the comments, Brief Horror says, I would tell your wife that this is divorce territory if she wants to put a grown man who can't get it together over the stability of her family and ahead of her husband who she made vows to. Her brother is her extended family and became that once you signed the marriage license. 100% not the asshole. The husband really needs strong boundaries. While I recommend only bringing up divorce as a last-ditch effort, number one should be couples counseling so you two can set healthy boundaries. Her brother doesn't care if he ruins her marriage and takes everything from her. He even said about, he and his wife separated because he claimed that she was enabling him to not have a job and he wanted to get a job. His mental illness will steamroll everyone. Also, at 67 with Alzheimer's, that's a massive sign that it's going to go downhill quick. Which means that this will become like dominoes fast. Like, not to freak you out, but the time is now to set rules with your wife and consequences. She didn't respect you when she didn't even check with you about him moving in. If she won't stand up for you and your family, the overall disrespect of your own marriage is ridiculous. This will get bad, and you have you and your daughters to take care of. She's got more to lose than she thinks, she just doesn't see it yet. You need to remind her. Tell your wife that she can go hang with her brother on his custody weekend. You and your kiddos can stay at home and enjoy the peace. Maybe some up-close and personal time alone with her brother will help her understand that her enabling behavior is actually undermining. OP says, well, that's the problem because he won't take the kids around my drug-addicted mother-in-law, and that's the only other space that he has available. Well, then it's up to him to figure something out. As I said throughout the post here, I am so done with this situation already, and we're not even at the update yet. I can't imagine how much worse this is going to get. I hope it gets better, personally, but this is just mountains on mountains on mountains of bullshit and terrible circumstances, and it's so sad that 2 young kids got brought into the world with a situation like that. It seems like everyone was pretty much set up for failure here. No, you're not the asshole for not letting brother-in-law bring his kids over to the weekend that he has custody, but really, the best situation is you guys looking after them, otherwise, he's just gonna have to lose custody and pay full child support, whatever that would be. That's probably the best situation that the kids get to stay with the mum. I don't know, man, but the brother-in-law here, he's in for a wild ride after all these dominoes fall down. And now, onto the update. My wife and I got into a big argument about this before work this morning. I'm really bad with timing. My wife did angrily agree that we are not going to allow this, but I feel that she will be resentful and hold this against me for at least a month. Although she would say that I won, I really don't think that this is the point of what I was trying to accomplish. My goal was to keep a peaceful household that I don't dread coming home to every other Friday, and also to keep my family from becoming enmeshed with his. I still feel like the bad guy because I know how much my wife loves the nephews and likes to take care of them. Thank you for all of the replies. They made me feel a bit more sane. In the comments, JFC Mofo says, so your wife agrees, but is mad that you brought it up. That's fucked up and very immature. Sounds like everyone has enabled her loser brother for so long, they think that it's normal and expected. Update me when this escalates, which it will. Prepare to see your brother-in-law and nephews every other weekend for the foreseeable future. Loving nephews doesn't mean endless weekends of chaos. Stand firm. Your wife sucks, and I don't know why you're letting her treat you like you're the bad guy. You should be mad at her. If my husband acted like your wife, I would be livid, and boy, would there be a discussion about boundaries. I cannot believe that you're having to beg for basic decency, and then she's treating you badly because of it. There's something seriously wrong in your marriage. Your wife needs to get therapy and stop acting like she's brother-in-law's mummy and needs to fix his life for him. He doesn't have to learn to manage his bipolar, kids, or life because your wife is convinced that she needs to help him. I say again, just have a conversation with a lawyer about the situation should you need to separate for a while and see what you would need to make sure that your daughters are safe with you instead of being around someone who can't manage to wipe his own ass without your wife helping. Why did she even get married and have children if she was just gonna run behind him and baby him? OP says, well, she is the oldest kid, and she definitely suffers from the burden of oldest daughter stigma. At the time we got married, everybody kind of thought her brother had his shit together and that he wasn't going to have kids, I guess. Definitely a boundary issue on her part, and I agree with that commenter. I'd be so pissed off at her for this as well. She is derailing this marriage by continuing to disrespect the foundation of that marriage, the marriage vows. If she continues with this, she is going to be the downfall of her own marriage, and it is not going to be your fault, OP. Please do go speak to a lawyer about your options when this escalates. And let's all pray that she makes the right choice and sets and maintains strong boundaries with brother-in-law. I highly doubt she will, but for your sake, OP, I want her to. Thank you for the story and thank you for updating. Our next post is by user Glad Price, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole here if I asked my sister to leave my house since she refuses to watch my kids?" A little backstory. I, 27 female, married my husband, 32 male. Have 2 kids, 11 female and 2 male. 2 years ago, I asked my little sister, who was 20 at the time, and she will turn 22 in a month, to come live with us and help out with the kids, as I needed it. She was in an abusive relationship, and she needed a place to stay. At first, it was for her to get back on her feet since she's getting out of the situation. The initial plan was that we would pay her $200 a week to watch our 4-month-old baby at the time, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. until 2 p.m., and she could use my car anytime she needed to, and she wanted an afternoon job. That was totally fine. She happily accepted. A month had passed, and she told me that she's getting depressed being inside every day and that she can't do this anymore. I told her that's okay, her mental health is very important, but she should be able to watch the kids when we need her to, like date night, etc. Found someone else to watch our kid. Fast forward 2 years later, she works full-time, doesn't pay any bills, doesn't help around the house, not even washing the dishes or taking out the trash or cooking dinner, or even buying groceries or things the house needs. Like no help at all. Last week, my husband and I went out for a bit. Mind you, we asked her the weekend before if she could watch the kids, and she said yes. Within an hour of us being out, my husband and I received this text. I just want to say this to get this off my chest. This isn't an attack, and this isn't me being ungrateful. I just want you guys to try to consider my point of view. And my point of view is that I don't appreciate being used as a service whenever it's convenient for y'all. I understand this is all I'm good for, but there are some days where I don't want to come home after a 9-hour shift and watch a baby. I didn't decide to have children. You guys did. And the only person who ever appreciates me for it, and the only one who thanks me for it, is husband. So it's been building up inside me and causing resentment that my own sister will refuse to recognize my accomplishments because it's what I'm supposed to do. I appreciate staying here rent-free, and I've appreciated the opportunity being given to me, but I don't feel like I should dedicate my life to you guys. It's like now I'm being asked to watch the kids like it's already a given, and that it's not something that I can ever say no to, because when I do say no, I'm treated like Voldemort. It feels like an obligation when it should feel like a choice. I feel like the time frame should have been more discussed because I'm under the impression that I was watching him till 6:30, not 9:30. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Again, I'm not attacking. I just want to ask for more clarity. It kind of sounds like you're attacking, though. That's what I'm saying. At this point, that's all she is good for. Watching the kids for us for a few hours once or twice a week, and the accomplishment that she's referring to is getting her high school diploma at the age of 21 because she dropped out of school a few months before graduating. She still uses my car when needed to go to her boyfriend's house or work. At this point, I am fed up and just can't take it anymore. My husband tells me that she is my sister and I need to handle it, and he is tired of taking care of a grown-ass adult. So would I be the asshole if I ask her to leave my house since she refuses to watch the kids when needed? In the comments, OP clarifies the relationship on her daughter who is 11. saying, "I was a single teen mom. She's not my husband's biological daughter, he adopted her after we got married." And a commenter replies, "You had a teen pregnancy and 2 baby daddies, so maybe don't be so judgmental on your sis getting a GED at 21. GED or not, she was smart enough to figure out birth control." Damn. OP replies, "I'm not being judgmental about her getting her GED at 21. I was stating the fact that that was the accomplishment, and who do you think helped her figure out birth control so she wouldn't make the same mistake as me? Not the asshole." It sounds like this arrangement is no longer working for everyone involved, and it's time for you to find other housing. Living rent-free for 2 years while she works full-time means that she should have some savings. If she doesn't, that's on her. Give her a written notice to vacate. With the number of days required by state and/or local law, since she is considered a tenant. Another commenter says, "Not the asshole. She says it's a given that she'll watch the kids, even though you hired a nanny so that she wouldn't have to watch the kids. She's enjoyed your largesse for long enough." Oh my god, they said largesse. Much to my chagrin, she has enjoyed OP's largesse for far too long. Where is downvoted commenter number 3 when you need them? Just don't frame it as a punishment. Tell her you were glad you were there for her when she needed it, and after thinking about her text, you can't have her feeling used. You would like to give her 2 months to find her own place, unless she would like to leave immediately. Put it in writing, and don't back down. Don't go back and forth over what was agreed and whether or not you were angry. She doesn't deserve your energy. She's an ungrateful ass who has started to not just take it for granted, but is trying to drive a wedge between you and your husband. Only he thanks me. No, this will not do, OP. She is a drain on your resources, both emotional and financial. Let her go somewhere else where she'll get all the appreciation she thinks she deserves. Couldn't agree more. I have a habit of agreeing with what the comments said, guys. Don't at me. But in this situation, she for sure is taking the mickey. She is taking OP's largesse for granted. And I won't stand for it, okay? What's another reference? I'm gonna erupt feral and screaming from my cardigan if you allow her to continue to take the mickey, OP. Also, not sorry either. That text message from her was so crazy. What do you mean it's not an attack on you? But how dare you expect me to live rent-free in this house, and I have to look after the kids once in a blue moon? Did you know that that's slavery, OP? You are slaving this poor, rent-free, 9-to-5, saving all of her money-ass woman. For what? What, your sick satisfaction you get out of saving? Saving a goddamn abuse victim, OP? You're sick in the head, did you know that? She's taking your charity, your largesse, and spitting in your face. And what do? You turn around and say nothing, and you get this text message from her out of nowhere, and then you make fun of her achievements? You're a piece of shit, OP. Hey, man. How about you start paying her to live with you? How about that? Anyway, let's see what the update has to say. And now, onto the update. Like many of you suggested, I did sit her down, and I did apologize for not showing any appreciation and the fact that she felt used. And I also pointed out that her watching the kids once or twice a week, and let me clear this up, guys, it was never last minute, is her only way of contributing to the house. And of course, like many of you predicted, she started yelling that I'm attacking her, and that I only took her out of that situation to benefit me, and not her. And I did confirm that the previous agreement was something that I thought would benefit the both of us, not just me. I knew it, OP. You're literally worse than the abuser. You're so much worse, bro. I told her since this new living arrangement is not working for anyone at this point, and since she doesn't want to watch the kids, she has 60 days to find better living arrangements. She stated that she never said that she didn't want to watch the kids, and I cut her off, stating that as her older sister, I don't want to ruin our relationship, so it's best for her to find another place to live, because her feeling appreciated or not being used, her mental health, is very important, and it does matter. God, OP, what is with you and your toxic positivity? Cut that shit out right now, you abusive person. I even apologized for treating her as my own child, like taking care of her, taking her to all of our family vacations for free. I really thought I was helping her, but now I realized I was hurting her. And now she has a great opportunity to grow and live the life that she wants to. By the way, we live in San Diego, California. Minimum rent for one bedroom is $2,000. I wish her the best of luck. Thanks again, everyone. Oh, this did not go the way that she wanted it to, that's for sure. In the comments, commenter 1 says, "How did she react to this?" Referring to OP's sister, of course. OP says, "She started crying and said that wasn't her intentions for things to get way out of hand. And I told her that we can't go back. Everyone needs to move on." Commenter 2 says, "That's the perfect response. Your sister will face the real world and enjoy her life like she wanted. She is in for the rudest awakening of her life. Don't cave, OP. The text she sent to you and your husband was delulu. I was insulted for y'all because that was a sweet deal. No one ever offered me such a sweet deal, though I wish they had. Congrats, OP. You're about to get your house back, just in time for the holidays. Sister should have just offered to pay nominal rent in exchange for not having to babysit if it was annoying her that much. Would have been better for her in the long run. I don't think Sister was thinking at all when she sent that, otherwise it would have been obvious to her how still lopsided the arrangement was in her favor. Sis probably thought, but family, with an additional helping of, you're my big sis, I'm entitled to your care. So, didn't clean, didn't pay utilities or rent, was taken on all vacations for free, lives in a high cost of living area, and thought that being asked to watch the kids a couple of times a week was somehow an unreasonable burden? Lamau? Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, dear. Can anyone pinpoint, like, the times in stories like this where I just start losing my mind? Because I can feel it. I can feel the energy shift. I think for me personally, it was the start of that second story where it's just a mountain of shit upon a mountain of shit, and I just broke. This story was like the perfect icing on the cake though. What a delusional witch of a woman. And yes, I just watched Weapons last night. Fantastic film. Witch is a word associated with that movie. I'm not spoiling the movie for you guys, I promise. But anyway, that sister who was taking the piss is a witch. And don't come at me, Wiccan community. I had a goddamn Wiccan. That sounds like a slur. I'm sorry, Wiccans. I had a lovely, beautiful Wiccan in my comments a few years ago when I didn't want to say the word bitch and I said witch instead. Come at me in the comments being like, Marky, do you know how insulting it is for the Wiccan community that you would say that to us? And I realize my mistakes now, guys. This is my YouTuber apology video. No hate for the proud and practicing Wiccans out there. You guys can live your lives as you please. I just think that the sister was being unreasonable in this story and that she was being a bit of a witch. In a disrespectful way towards her, but not a disrespectful way towards the Wiccan community. Please do not cast a spell on me. I've seen videos of people casting spells on others. That was not my intention from this TED Talk. Thank you for coming to the TED Talk though. And thank you, OP. Sorry. Thank you for the story and thank you for the update. This was most amusing. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.